Having circles help me through a divorce, career change, cancer, and figuring out who this divorced woman looks like and what she's all about. How was I going to survive? I was married with 6 kids. 5 of them were still living at home. He was working a job that wasn't making enough money for a family that size to be able to survive. I was working at the care center. To have that big of a family, it's more than a full-time job. I'm breaking. I can't keep going. They were just presenting in Utah this new program called Circles, and they were telling the bishops about how this can help families out of poverty. He called me in and he said, "Gaylene, I got something. I think it'll work. I think this is your answer." So we started into Circles. We met with these families, all of them same situation, which was really eye-opening because I thought I was the only one. One of the first things we learned was about dreaming and to dream again. And she asked us, what are your dreams? What do you guys want to do? Where do you see yourself in the future? And next week, we're going to come and the whole table's going to be full of magazines, and we're going to have poster boards, and we're going to make a vision board. One of my vision boards had Harry Potter World on there. We learned about budgeting, how to save for emergencies. We did a lot of Dave Ramsey stuff. And I was so excited. I was like, we are going to pay off 3 of our huge debt. I was just so excited to show my husband. And he says, "I have something to tell you." My husband had closed our joint checking account and moved all of the money that was in there into an account in his name only. He just financially disowned his wife and kids. I was devastated. And so we went to Circles that week. And I pulled the coach aside and I said, "Give me my own ally." It just was becoming more and more apparent to me, we're going to get a divorce. This is me on my own. And I'm going to need someone to help me figure that out. How am I going to take care of myself and 6 kids? I had met Helen at our Circles meeting, and then they put us together, and I was like, wow. Circles is a program that the circle leader is in charge. They are the one that makes the change. It's not the ally. The ally is there to cheer you on, to give you the hints that you need along the way to run this race and the encouragement. She says, "Well, tell me, how can I help you?" She and I, within 5 minutes, we were the best of friends. We had so much in common. We could relate so much to different things. And it was very good. She got me to do my resume. She taught me a little bit more about Excel, helped me with interviewing. She had lots of wonderful skills that she was willing to pass on to us. She was very excited to be a part of my world and helping me out. I was also sitting down with my spouse, and I was trying to get him to understand we're separating here. He was not very responsive. He would not acknowledge me a lot of the time. My teenage son at that time, he had been skipping school. We took away his laptop, and I heard somebody in the room, and my son was taking my laptop. I chased him into the living room, and my husband is sitting right there on the couch. We're right in front of him, and I said, "Do you remember what we talked about in marriage counseling?" And he says, "No, this isn't my problem." I finally got it out of my son's hand. He got up and he ran into the other room. I pulled myself up off the floor, and I walked past my husband, and I slapped him up the side of the head and told him thanks for the backup. I got 10 steps towards our bedroom, and I heard him on the phone with 911, and he charged me with domestic violence. I was arrested. I went to Utah County Jail, and I determined that as soon as I get out, I'm filing for divorce. I didn't see my kids for 6 weeks. I had nothing, nowhere. And so I would have to reinvent myself. I called Helen When I got my divorce, she was the first person I called. She was more of a support to me during that time. So to have a third person, and Helen was my third person, and she was there with me through all this, and she was really strong. My brother works for U.S. Synthetic, and while he was there, HR called me and asked me, are you willing to work hard, physically hard? And are you willing to work the grave shift? And I said, I will do anything, anything. There's no way I could get custody of the kids unless I could provide for them. So I went in very next day, and it wasn't an interview, it was orientation. I got the job, and it fit all of the requirements Helen and I had put forth, that we have a job that pays enough to provide for me and my kids. After I was taken from the home, the high honor roll student, she went to straight F's in 2 weeks. The two boys had earned Student of the Month. They were doing really good, but then their attendance started to slack off. My son did drop out of high school, so we go to divorce court and I present this evidence. This is what they've done in the last 6 weeks with their dad. And the judge looked at that, and he made a decision, and he gave me the custody of the kids. Got them to the doctor's office and got their physicals. Everybody was in place. They were ready to go into schools, and it came time for my physical. And I went in for mine, and I found out that I had breast cancer. Helen was there with me, and she's texting me like every day, how are you today? How is it going? And she's checking up on me. And she was like, okay, so you got cancer, so what's the plan? And tell me what I can do. And I was like, I know I've got all these medical bills coming, but I really want to go to Harry Potter World with my kids. And I have this money from the house, and am I foolish to spend that money, instead of putting it towards a new home for me, spending some of it on a dream vacation with my kids? And they both said no. They were very supportive. So I went to the surgery, and they got most of it, but they still wanted to do radiation treatments. I would go to work a graveyard shift. I'd get home in the morning, and I'd go to bed, and then I'd get up, and before they came home from school, I would head down to the hospital and go to the cancer center for my treatment, and then drive myself back. And I had about 2 hours I could function. And I had a list of what I had to get done during that time. We had our dinner, and I'd fall asleep at the table at dinner time. And my daughter would send me to bed. And then I'd sleep for a few hours. But every day, Helen called or texted me and checked on me. And the day that I came out from my last treatment, the first person I called was Helen to tell her I'm done. I'm done, and it's all over. It's really over, and I'm okay. I survived. And so we got through that, and about a month later, we spent a couple days at Harry Potter World, and we just loved it. And I was really exhausted because I was still recovering. Pam joined our circle, and she was really good because she is of my faith, and I could talk to her about things that I couldn't talk with Helen about. She just had a whole different perspective for me. Being an older woman, she also had that grandmotherly mother's love. One of my goals was to get a house. So we focused on looking for a house. I've been looking online at different places. I have some idea of what I want. And Helen and Pam, they're busy women. They have their own families and everything. They couldn't really come out with me, but they were more than eager to just shoot me a text of the place and what you think and how you feel about it. And so they were right there with me by text. We found the right townhome, and it was just perfect. So I'd hit all my goals, and I was able to graduate. Circles took good care of me. I'm decided recently to become an ally so I can pay this forward.
because I wouldn't have been able to survive. I don't think without the encouragement that I got from my allies, from the knowledge that I gained from going through the program, I know I wouldn't be where I'm at. I know that I wouldn't have the confidence I can achieve and I can keep going. I know I can find a way.